on starboard tack on Emirates Team New Zealand, defender of the 37th America's Cup. Pete, a long and very productive day on the water today. Can you take us through the day?
Yeah, it's obviously hasn't been much wind at the beginning of the week, so we've been pushing quite hard in these last couple of days. Yeah, it's really nice to get the big boat back out, get through head tie out, and tick off a few things that have been kind of outstanding questions, and then do a few race laps at the end. And a really productive day for us.
Going into the beginning of the day, when we had lighter winds, we noticed that you are sailing with a slightly more heel to windward, and with the foil on the leeward side closer to the surface. What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, we're trying a few things. Just playing around with some different setups and making sure stuff lines up with what we have in the tools, and I'm really happy with how things are going. But yeah, you're always trying to learn and improve, so that's what we're trying to do today.
Then going into the pre-starts, which specific things that you are practicing in these days do you think you will be able to apply in the event in Villanova on the AC40s?
Not sure. It's obviously nice to just go around, check out what the boats can do. It was obviously very different in Villanova to here. We have human power on this boat and a battery that provides a lot in the AC40. So it's yeah, it's something they're quite similar, but you're trying to do the same routes and strategies. So yeah, for us as a group, it was really nice to be able to do that today. The power units were working pretty hard, and yeah, we're just pretty nice way to cap off a day with a few race laps.
As regards the event in Villanova, first preliminary regatta, first official regatta of the America's Cup, let's say. How much pressure is on the team to perform?
Yeah, well, it's definitely coming around pretty quick. Villanova's a little over 2.5 weeks now, so it's yeah, really exciting that we'll be racing in the not too distant future. And as a group, I think we've taken on a lot to get ready for this event. We've got a lot of noise and things going on, but for the sailing team, it's really about making sure we do everything we can to get ready in the 40. We haven't actually had our 40 in the venue very long, so it's going to be a busy few weeks ahead, making sure we build up to it well.
So looking forward towards the America's Cup next year, that is going to be on AC75. How important do you consider these events on AC40 sailing in class, and what a good result or a bad result could cause within the team?
Yeah, well, it's obviously quite different to the America's Cup, albeit the America's Cup's match racing in the AC75, which is a very different boat. But the 40's obviously been an amazing training tool, and I think it's just great for the event to see all the teams getting together and battling it out. And obviously we're all competitive, we all want to be at the right end of it, but being a year out for the America's Cup, I don't think it'll show you too much as to how people are actually going in the 75s.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're here with Elliot Pilcher, hydraulics engineer with Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Out today on the AC75, short stints, lots of stopping and starting today. What was going on?
We had a pretty strict plan we were trying to follow today around what the goals were, what we wanted to tick off and achieve throughout the day. So it was really small targeted sections of sailings, debriefs, another targeted section of sailing, another debrief, and that was sort of project for the day. So.
Can you tell us what some of those objectives were?
I can't, sorry.
So what are the biggest issues that you're usually dealing with?
In the hydraulic system or the boat in general?
The hydraulic system.
Well, it's just the upkeep of the boat and the development of the boat, the crossover of the two, is always a challenge. So we're every day trying to develop the boat, trying to develop the hardware, the logic, learning from the boat, learning from the sailors, learning ourselves. So it's that whole cycle was it's the America's Cup.
Can you tell us how you work with engineers developing the logic and the sailors at the same time, and how you integrate everything together?
Yeah, that's basically the learning process that we all go through as a team, you know, between the feedback that comes from the guys off the water directly back to us, then what we learn through, you know, looking at the boat live, through data analysis and through just use of the system, and then what the software guys can produce and what they're able to do is kind of closes the loop. You know, we learn, they learn, we give feedback to each other and discuss what's possible and come up with the concepts that go into the boat.
So you've been playing around with main sheet systems. What's the difference between the old and the new hydraulic main sheet systems? Why are you going back and forth? We've seen you with two different systems this week.
It's all part of development, you know, going back and forth, trying new things, learning from the old, learning from the new, seeing what's different between the two and what works well, what we need to change. So having the two different systems gives us the ability to chop and change. You know, we can change one, test the other.
Do any of your controls initiate once loads exceed certain values?
Yeah, if loads exceed certain values, then things have got to ease, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of safety features in the boat that stop it from being overloaded. You know, you want to be as close to the limit as possible, but you don't want to go over the limit. So the whole boat is full of that kind of feature everywhere.
Can you give us an example of a fail-safe response?
The main sheet is a classic, where if you know, now that they've taken the backstays out of these boats, the main sheet is a very critical function. You know, it's the only thing holding up that and the sail hold up the mast aft, basically, with the rigging, of course. But if that gets overloaded or was to fail because it overloads, then you risk to lose the mast or risk to do some serious damage. So the load limit on the main sheet has to be really strictly maintained, and the guys always want to keep it there at the limit, but you can never, you know.
And what is the load limit?
Oh, I can't tell you that, sorry.
Elliot, thank you for your time.
No worries.
Hi Andrew, how are you?
We're good.
Who was on board with you today?
Let's see, on America we had Lucas Calabrese, Riley Gibbs, and Tom Slingsby.
Can you summarize the day for us and tell us which are the main conclusions?
Yeah, we had a nice session of testing. We were doing some foil testing, doing some aero testing, you know, just trying to understand. We were trying to get some different conditions today, but it turned out today was really similar to yesterday, honestly. And we were really hoping that we would be able to stretch it out and get some breezier conditions, but that kind of Barcelona sea breeze stayed mellow, and we had a lot of 12 to 14. It was about as nice a day of sailing as you could ever ask for, but we were looking for a little more.
So the conditions that you had today and also yesterday in the water are similar to the ones that you feel more confident as a team?
I think every team feels confident in those conditions. I mean, it's about as easy as it gets in terms of handling, and the sails aren't super loaded, and the boats are going so fast and they're so light that they're really easy to sail and fun. You know, I think conditions like that, when they are easy, they're good times to push the boats really hard and find where the edges are and find where the sensitivities are, and that's what we tried to do a few times too. So.
It's the third day in a row that we see America checking on her new foil.
Yeah.
Are you having problems with it, just applying slippery product, or just quick checks?
Oh, out on the end of the foil, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my jobs to go out and make sure everything's kind of working the way we expect it to, and there's little pieces and parts that we want to make sure are still functioning right after a day, and if we don't have time to come in and service them, then we just kind of have to give them a check on the water. So that's one of my gigs, is to go out there and hang and look it over and make sure it's clean and ready to go again. And that's all, just making sure it's up to spec.
Okay. In an hypothetical situation, if you find yourself behind in Villanova, what's the thought process? Bang a corner or get clear air?
No, we're always going to put the pressure on these guys to make sure that they'll make a mistake. And we know that if we sail the boat well, then the other teams will find ways to crack in front of us. We just have to keep the pressure on them.
And another question. Apart from the morning and evening briefings that you daily do, how much input from the coach do you receive during your trainings?
Yeah, all the boats on the water are linked through the headphones, and so we get constant feedback from our coach on our boat. The other boat gets the same from their coach. Both boats are getting the same from the middle chase boat, so you know, the testing organizer he's torn all of his hair out, and it's gone for years now. But you know, he's trying to organize both individual teams, making sure that we're on the same settings and getting our testing, you know, matrices right. And so, yeah, we get a lot of feedback all the time from everybody, and you just try to filter it to make it boil down into the best sailing performance that we can.
Nice. Thank you so much, Andrew. A pleasure.